Hi all, welcome to Beanie Composter. If you saw our last video, we had like ant problems, and the last time I emptied it, I saw them coming up through the base plate. So I'd take this opportunity to empty the whole bin, clean it out, and just see if there is a problem with the ants underneath the base plate. So join me today as we empty, clean, dismantle and put it all back together. So in our last video I emptied it for with the 30-day compost, and if you look in here now, I've stirred it up and we're just about just below the hatch door. There's still a few ants maybe crawling around in there, but I'm going to empty all this out and come back to me once we've done that. So I've got I've got this larger tray here and this one here. This one I'm just putting all the top layer stuff into, so when I put it back in the hot bin, it's sort of at that, it's in the layers that it was when I put it in. And it is warm, so today's reasonably warm, so hopefully it will stay quite warm while I'm doing this procedure. Today's top tip is, if you're going to empty a lot of compost, then maybe invest in one of these little scoop things. I think they're for like pet food and that, but they just make getting the compost out quite easy if you don't want to keep using your hands. And if you put in like rose thorns and things like that in your compost, then if you're emptying it like this, then you can actually get a few splinters in your hands from things like that. So this is a a top tip. So we have everything out of it now. On the below the base plate, that's where I thought the ants might be, although there's going to be like the the light shade is going to collect under there, so that's probably going to be full of that. So I don't see why the ants would be going into like water. But anyway, we're gonna just try this and see what happens, and see if I can eliminate these ants. As I say, you're gonna have water in there, the light shade, which has gone down. So if you've got the Mark 1, which I have here, you're gonna have to tip this forward, and that light shade's gonna come out of this metal plate bit here. So we'll put a tray there and we'll tip that, close the lid, and we're going to tip that forward. It's going to be quite light to move about now, and well, we've not got anything coming out at the moment, so that's okay. So that means I can actually move it without getting light shade all down me. So I'm going to move this to the garden. It's going to be quite a procedure because we've got not a lot of space here, and then we'll carry on from there. So there you can see some ants are coming in and out of the base plate holes, which is what I sort of noticed yesterday when I started emptying it, and it made me wonder, are they actually living underneath the base plate? So that's sort of what led me to think maybe this would be a good chance to trial that out and take it apart and see what's going on underneath there. This part's definitely marigold time, guys. Inside there's worse than the little un's nappy when he was younger, and it's starting to smell a bit like that now, so let's make this a rapido video. So with this Mark 1 model, the base plate doesn't come out that easy, but what I have found is if you you slide your raking tool in there, like I say, it fits in here perfectly, and you can just gently, don't force it, just gently prise that, and you'll feel it lifting up. Can you see that in the video? So like I say, don't go yanking it because you might just break your whole Hotbin base plate. So just get that and just gently prise it, you know, and take your time with this if you're going to do this. You don't want to go damaging anything. And you'll probably notice your base plate is like probably sunk down a little bit, but that's just all the weight that's been on there with the compost. So once you get to this stage, you'll see like a, you know, a gap there, which will, you know, you can get your fingers in there and then you can just prise that out now. So this is the first time for all of us seeing what's inside here. So we've got an awful lot of sludge, and there are a few ants in here, but I wouldn't say there's tons of them, but it does actually smell this stuff, so you know, I think it's a good time to take it out, and I'll probably spread that over the garden, you know, just to get rid of that. Missy's has got her nose covered up. Okay guys, so all I can compare this to is either, you know, a little un's nappy, or when you go searching for those worms in the old quicksand sort of stuff. But yeah, that does stink. So it just actually goes to show you how good the Hotbin, you know, is at containing, you know, all the bad smells. So the biofilter that's on the top really does work, because you don't get really any bad smells with the Hotbin if it's running okay. It's only really, you know, when you come to do something like this that you realise that that is actually working really well. So I don't think I've emptied this for, you know, maybe at least, you know, a good 2.5, maybe 3 years. I think when I first got it, I emptied it once because it's, I think everything went a bit, you know, wet and smelly, and then I ended up emptying it to dry the compost off, and I think I cleaned it all out and restarted again. So this is, you know, a good, probably, you know, maybe 3 years or more build up of, you know, stuff on right at the bottom on the base plate, below the base plate. So I've taken, that's how much has come out, and I'm gonna now just give the, you know, the bin a good clean. One thing I will say is there weren't loads of ants in there, so that is a good thing, and hopefully, you know, cleaning this out and, you know, putting it all back will, you know, solve that problem with the ants. So with the sludge, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just put that over the garden where we've got some space. That's going to be really rich, so, well, either I could put it in the garden or I could put it in with that 30-day compost from, you know, that I took out yesterday. So don't waste it or throw it away. That's probably packed with loads of nutrients and that, so make sure you use that. But just be wary, you might need a face mask on for this one. So for cleaning, you can use whatever you want. I'm just using, you know, water. You know, you could use soapy water if you're just using one of these to get, you know, I find these are quite useful because we don't have a hose pipe here. So I just use this for pressure. And I've also got, you know, I've also got like a little brush and a, you know, an old car sponge that is quite easy to sort of use. If you know, you've got some bits that, you know, are just blocked, then you can just push that in and, you know, clear it out that way. But if you've got a hose with a bit of high pressure, then I'm sure that would get rid of all these. But if you're as tight as me and you don't like putting the hose pipe on, or you don't have one, then this is an option. Perfect. Up here.
And those ants.
Yeah, get rid of the ants. We need to get rid of those ants. Depending on how precise you want to clean it, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're putting your compost back in there, by the way, so now you've got the metal grill bit here. I just want to make sure all that's nice and clean and there's nothing, because there is a gap there. I just want to make sure that's all nice and clean. So I'm just going to pour, some water in there. If you're not putting soap into this, then I would suggest, don't waste all this, stuff in here, because that's got all the nutrients in. So make sure, you collect that and throw that over your plants or on the bit of garden that you want it to go onto. For this purpose, I'm just going to let it go on my grass. I find the sponge is probably, a good tool to use for this, because, you're not going to damage it. And, be mindful when you are cleaning it that nothing's stuck in it, or, so you don't end up causing any damage. So just, go gently with it. So the grill bit, I just give that a, clean with a, scrubbing brush. This white bit, that's not on your normal hot composting bin. That's a video we showed how to collect the leachate from, from your hot bin, and this has been on since I filmed that video, so it really does last quite a long time. It can take a lot of abuse. Maybe I'm going slightly over the top, but I just wanted to make sure, we eliminate that ant problem, and maybe if they're still in the compost, they'll still come back. But I thought this would be a good video for you to see, if you did want to clean yours or have to empty it, how you can sort of do it. I thought it'd be rude not to give it a clean while I've got space all around it and I can just give it a, a quick wash. So I'm just giving it a wash with a sponge and some, rainwater or just water from the tap. This thing is outside all the time, so don't worry about water going over it. When it's heavy rain, it's no different. And I'm just, spraying it off with this sprayer thing as well, just to sort of, rinse all that water off, and, just while I've got it out, but this isn't necessary. Just here, you can see like a little dent, that's what I mean when you empty it and you put your hatch door back on. Just be mindful that there's no sort of branches or twigs or bulking agent that's going to get pushed in, and that will actually dent the actual material. I've given it a reasonable clean out now with just water, and to put your base plate back in on the large one, it doesn't matter which way it goes in. It's it's pretty much universal all the way round. So that just slots in, and just make sure it's not at any angle. Try to keep it nice and parallel. Gently push it down, and then the hatch door goes on, right in the right way up, and just gently push that on. And then that's ready for us to put the cam straps back on, and then we can refill it. So now I'm going to just put back in the reverse order all the compost that we took out. This is the last of the the old stuff that I've taken out. So once that's in, I'm gonna put some fresh waste in, because we're just almost below the hatch. So I'm just gonna put some fresh waste in just to lift that up a bit, and we'll see how we go. After we took the sludge stuff out of the bottom and I cleaned the whole compost bin out. When it was put back together and I put all the stuff back in, it took a little while to get the temperature up. After I gave it a good old stir up, within a few days the temperature has gone right up, and if you look inside you'll see just how hot it's getting at the moment. So I think that one just proves that taking all that stuff out the bottom, giving your compost a clean after a couple of years does really help it, you know, to get that airflow going again. And this time of year, which is midsummer, well, the temperature is really high. Summary on the bench. I saw quite a few ants in the hot bin the last few times that I've emptied it, so on the last time I emptied it I noticed they were coming in and out of those, you know, on the base plate, the little holes there, so I had a, you know, feeling that there might be a load of ants underneath that base plate, but as it happened there weren't hardly any, so maybe that was a pointless exercise, me emptying it for that reason. Right at the bottom of the compost you're never going to have the hot composting temperatures like you would in the middle and the top, so that's not really going to kill those ants off. I just thought this would be a nice video for everyone to see how you can, like, you know, take the hot bin apart, clean it. Thanks for watching, guys. Little Un's just done a compost dance, so hopefully within the next year we'll all be doing that compost dance on top of the pots. But until next time, don't forget subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you haven't popped over to Beanie Chef, have a look there. There's some nice recipes to try out in the summer. Thanks for watching, happy composting, and until next time, enjoy.